Our breaking story, of course, right now is the latest on an EgyptAir flight that is believed to have crashed over the Mediterranean. And several nations are now sending help to the area to search for the missing EgyptAir flight. Disappeared overnight. 66 people on board, including, we're told, one Canadian. Very sad situation at the Cairo airport as media just swamp relatives who are arriving to find out any new information about their loved ones. Planes and ships from Egypt, Greece, and France have now started the search and rescue operation in the Mediterranean, looking for any sign of life or debris. The Airbus A320 took off from Paris at 5 p.m. Toronto time last evening, but fell off the radar 4 hours later. That was just 45 minutes before it was expected to arrive in Cairo. Several media reports suggesting the plane did crash after a ship's captain claims to have seen a fireball in the sky. However, that is still not confirmed. Air traffic control apparently lost communication with the plane just after it entered Greek airspace. Authorities confirmed the pilots did not send distress signals prior to the disappearance. The automatic emergency beacon did send out a signal 2 hours after it went missing. Weather conditions apparently were just fine. A glimmer of hope for Fort McMurray's nearly 90,000 evacuees. They could start returning to their homes in less than 2 weeks if the threat of wildfires remains at bay. The plan for re-entry would see residents move back starting June the 1st, about a month after they were forced out by that massive blaze. However, Alberta's premier warns the timeline could change if some safety conditions aren't met. Air quality still needs to improve. All basic services like water, gas, and hydro have to be restored. The fire that continues to spread outside Fort Mac now measures more than 4,200 square kilometers. The city's crackdown on unlicensed marijuana dispensaries has started. Toronto police delivering warning letters to begin with to property owners. The letters are reminding owners of their obligations under the law and possible consequences if they're found guilty of contravening zoning bylaws. They could be fined up to $50,000 if they're a corporation and $25 grand for an individual. There are currently more than 100 marijuana storefronts in Toronto. The feds promising to legalize pot for recreational use, but right now the only legal source of marijuana is for medical purposes. Marijuana dispensaries are now operating in a gray area. Police and government officials trying to determine the best course of action next. Well, Drake's new home could be a massive mansion in the city's bridle path. The rapper apparently has applied for some zoning exemptions to build his dream home. The Six God reportedly purchasing a 2-acre property on Park Lane Circle for $6.7 million. There is what some would consider a small home on the property, expected to be torn down to make way for a 21,000 square foot mansion complete with basketball court, a pool in the basement. The designs include a library, piano room, and an awards room. The plan will be before a North York Committee of Adjustment next week, where Drizzy's reps will be seeking exemptions to the zoning bylaws. Justin Bieber returns to the ACC tonight for the second of his back-to-back sold-out shows. The Biebs taking to the stage last night, part of his Purpose Tour. Singing some new tunes and going back to his roots, singing one of his first hits, Baby. Baby, baby, baby. Oh. I do like the song. I do like it. The pop star even donned a Leafs jersey.
It was unbelievable. It was amazing. I was up on my feet the whole time. Like, so good. Amazing. Amazing.
It's like, I don't even have any words to explain how amazing it was.
We cried. It was so good.
Great job, you know, a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, so enthusiastic, he was into it, he loved it, we loved it. It was awesome, hey!
It was very fun, and he danced a lot.
Yeah? Are you getting tired just watching him?
Yeah.
I would.
I was dancing the whole time.
Yeah?
And I was yelling and I was screaming.
He probably heard you.
Yeah.
From way back there.
Now, this morning, there's already one believer camped just outside the Queen Street store, but expect more to show up because look what happened yesterday. The pop-up shop, Bathurst and Queen, opens this morning at 11. The manager tells us he expects the Biebs may show up today because he is in town. He has another show at the ACC.